Good evening, everyone. Thankful, thankful Tuesday to you all on tonight. I welcome you to Loosen the Cords That Bind, the segment, Let's Talk About It. My name is Dr. Eleanor Thompson, and I am the CEO of Loosen the Cords That Bind, LLC, a for-profit business. I am your host on tonight, and I thank you for joining me or on whatever platform that you find yourself. I thank you again for taking up the time of your busy schedules and allowing me into your homes at this time of night. Thank you very much. I thank God on tonight for this particular platform that He has allotted me to be on, and that is TrueLifeRadio.net. And I thank God for Pastor Thompson Paul and his lovely wife, Elder Michelle Lady Paul. I thank them for their kindness and just thank God for blessing the people of God. Um, and I pray that God will bless them, forever bless them. And then I encourage you to support this radio station at this time. Just so even if it's just to listen and because like I always say, they have just so many things that you can gain from the station per se. Now, when you get an opportunity, please like, click, and share. I am on this platform every second and fourth Tuesdays of the month, so that you know. And then again, I would ask that you share it so others may hear it. Again, share it so others may hear it. It may not be what you want to hear at some time, but I'm pretty sure that someone will be able to be blessed from this. Amen. And I reiterate all the time that this is a platform of domestic violence. Yes, it is. But sometimes I deal with other things as life things that I deal with at times. And so that you may be able to get something from it to share it with someone else. Now, for as it goes, uh, if you have any, I'm going to give up some numbers, then I'm going to get started. Uh, if you are any type of abuse and you need assistance, please, if it's a 911, if it's an emergency, then you call 911. But if you need some help and assistance in different things, you can call Safe Horizon, and that number is 1-800-621-4673. That's 1-800-621-4673. Now, the hotline for abuse number is 1-800-799-7233. Again, that number is 1-800-799-7233. And if you would like to reach out and touch me, you can call me at 1-800-454-4639. Again, that number is 1-800-454-4639. Now, in the last couple of sessions that I did, I was having a discussion with you or a conversation concerning anger. Now, I that per se is, I would say, is done for right now. It's done because that's another part of emotional abuse is the anger part of it. Now I'm moving on. I'm going to deal with tonight. I'm going to deal with the narcissist, and I will give you some I would say definitions so that you can understand what I'm trying to say or bring across to you tonight. So as I get started, abuse, like trauma or mental illness per se, is often invisible. And what I say is because you cannot see mental illness unless you really, really know what it is that you're looking for, and as well as trauma. You have to be kind of trained for that per se, but sometimes looks are also deceiving because sometimes somebody may look like they have a problem and they really do not. That's just the look. So we have to be careful as well as we approach people and how we tend to handle them or to judge them. Now, and like I said before, trauma and abuse is usually invisible to those suffering from an abuse or at the hands of a narcissist, right? Whether it's a parent could be a narcissist, your partner, or a friend. Abuse can be, I would say, esteem, destroying and identifying the identity and shattering And then sometimes it's so slow and careful and quiet, and it's like it's so subtle that you don't even know that it's there. And it's very subconscious as well. It's just right sometimes right under the radar, and undetected and ignored, because a lot of times people who are around us, we don't get to see that because it's so subtle. And if it's not something physical, because physical abuse you can see, but the other some types of other abuse you cannot see. Emotional, you cannot see it. Psychological sometimes, but you have to have an eye for that, right? And a lot of times it just eats at that person that from the inside out, because they're like they're saying no one sees what I'm going through. I'm going somewhere with this because I early on in the sessions that I did, we dealt with like emotional abuse and the all the tendencies and things that which comes along with that, right? So again, now if again if we can like if you were like, how can I identify this person or this narcissist? Like I said, a narcissist can be a parent, a partner, a friend. It doesn't have a gender because a woman or a man can be a narcissist. But identifying one and the abusive ways isn't easy. A narcissist isn't just someone who ascribes to that definition that we know of the word narcissism. Narcissism. I'm going somewhere with this, so just bear with me. And that's the arrogance, the self-absorption that a person have, their selfishness, their self-confidence, their self-importance. It's all about self with the narcissist, right? Their self-interest, their self-regard, their superiority, their conceitedness, and their boastfulness. Now, if you know somebody like this, I think that, if with using the sense that God has given you, that would be a red light. Not unless you're willing to go through all the things that you will go through, and that do it with these people, right? The narcissists at all, right? So I'm gonna tell you something. The narcissistic personality disorder is, as it is also known as NPD. It is an enduring pattern of inner experience and behavior characterized, as I read you the definition, by self-centeredness, lack of empathy, and an exaggerated, which is distorted, far-fetched, inflated, overstated sense of self-importance. So they got like a big ego thing going on. Grandiose, I would say. I mean, it's just huge. And this narcissistic personality disorder again, or the NPD, is a diagnosable condition like borderline personality disorder. So this is like something that can't be diagnosed. So this is clinical. It's a diagnosable condition like borderline. Like it's sometimes it's so like there was a song when I was in the world. There's a thin line between love and hate. Very thin, because if you're not sure if the person, if you don't know, they could be on either side. They could be on one side at one moment and then the other side at the next, right? And it's according to this therapist, it said it is driven by self-interest, a desire for power and control. And we know that abuse is all about power and control. Because once they got that control, they have the power. Once they lose the power, they lose the control. So they're going to do everything in their rights to, to keep that power that they have, right? Okay, and as well, and also the interest and then the desire for power and control, and an avoidance of unpleasant emotions and personal accountability. Now, you see all these people, or they may have all these traits, but at the same time, they have low self-esteem, and they have problems dealing with themselves, basically. Okay, the narcissistic person struggles with emotional regulation and has a very low tolerance for their own emotional world. Their efforts to control or to avoid and deflect having to face their own emotions manifest as just minimizations or invalidations, because that's what they need from other people is invalidation. And when they don't get that, it often turns around in a very terrible and abusive way if they don't get that validation that they need, or that because they want to be important, or they want to feel important. So what is a narcissist? A narcissist is a common catchphrase describing someone who acts self-absorbed or vain. What many people do not know is that narcissism, or the narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, is actually a serious condition. Okay? The narcissistic abuse is a form of emotional abuse perpetrated by individuals having a tendency, whether conscious or unconscious, to use words and language in a manipulative way, or to damage or alter or otherwise control their partner's behavior. It's like a psychopath, crazy, a lunatic, a psycho, a schizoid, I would say, insane and deranged person, or a manic person. So when you see a person as such, now everybody that's narcissistic does not have are not abusive, but they have some traits, as I just said, by these different things. And if you're not careful, you can get totally tossed in this particular person. Okay, and people, you said, well, why are they so abusive? Why are the narcissists so abusive? They are primed. They are prepared and provoked to be abusive because they are so hypersensitive, and they don't have empathy, and they do not have object constancy. So what that means, I'm so glad that you asked. They are primed to take offense and be abusive and not really understand. You're kidding me? They don't understand? Being in a relationship with a narcissist is hard work. They are very insecure and sensitive, which means they take offense very easily. Do you know someone like that? Maybe you know someone like that may have some traits, but they're not really the narcissist. They don't have all of the traits. They may have some. And sometimes people are just, egotistical. They're just like that. They're very vain. They're very pompous. And, but you have to know. But what makes an abusive, a narcissist abusive is the abuse itself, not because of their, their status or whatever as being a narcissist, but what makes them an abusive or narcissist is the fact of the abuse that they put on people, or they do. Sometimes they are unaware, okay, of being abusive to their partners. Why? Because other times they're generally, and they will generally want to hurt them or harm them. So you have to be careful about a narcissist, a female or male, or even a parent, because sometimes I was reading some parents, they love nobody. They love themselves and what they can do, and what they can get out of someone. But they don't love the husband. They don't love the children, and usually the time they abuse them, most psychologically. And if they have that one child that they're clinging to, because they are priming them, they are grooming them to be just like them. So they're not going to hurt that because they see themselves in that person. Do you know anyone like that? And they are primed to take offense and be abusive, and don't really understand, as I said before. They are very insecure and sensitive, which means, again, they take offense very easily. And if you're dealing with a person of that caliber, you can end up your arguments continually. You will continually be arguing back and forth about the same things over and over again. Now, if you're in a relationship with a narcissist, you will have been through a roller coaster of ups and downs because this is something, ladies and gents, whoever on the line, because it doesn't have, it's not straight to one gender per se, or one person, or group of people. Fathers can be, a mother can be a narcissist, but that whole household is going straight to the flames because they're not going to make it easy. They're not going to make it easy for them to be there. Now, at the beginning, everything is wonderful. You might think that you found your soulmate, and this is the person that you feel that you want to spend the rest of your life with. They understand you, you understand them. Y'all thinking real well together. But after a while, things start to go the opposite way. They go left instead of going right. Now, sometimes we in a relationship, even like in the domestic violence, you have the people, they know how to charm you and whatever else. And you think, oh, this is it right here. Like I said at the beginning, they do this. They're wonderful. But this usually happens after weeks, months, or even years. The narcissist will no longer see any value in you. But they're looking for themselves. Like I said, they are selfish, very selfish people or persons. As soon as they realize you are no longer a value to them and thus flawed, they struggle to see the use of you anymore. They can't find no use in you anymore. They'll start blaming you for things, shouting at you, or even break up with you, leaving you to try to figure it out. Like, what went wrong? What did I do? What just happened? Is this for real? Narcissists are, again, they're ultra sensitive by definition and are self-protective and they're like having antennas really and out for respect. If they beep the horning on you and they feel that you have disrespected them, or also for someone taking something from them, they're waiting for that. And underneath that, they are very insecure. The Greenberg said that if you have a whole range of people who are hypersensitive, lacking empathy, and for one reason or for one reason or another, they don't feel bad when you feel bad. So that's why they can hurt you without realizing it, because they have no empathy. They love nobody. They love no one. That's a dangerous person to be around or to be with. But choose your poison. Am I going to be with this person, this male or this female, or is this going to be my husband or wife? Choose your poison, because you're gonna. I'm pretty sure if you don't have to get the help that they need, it's going to be a problem. And I was reading. I don't want to jump the gun. There's no cure, basically, for it. But as we go along, then I will deal with that. Now, despite this, the narcissist's own feelings can be hurt very easily. They're very sensitive. Because of their high sensitivity, any small thing can spark them. And they can see their partner as an attack, like their partner attacked them because they hurt their feelings. I don't know if the person are narcissists, but I do know people that are so super sensitive. Anything could just hurt their feelings, and it's hard to be around people as such, because you don't know how to deal with them, right? You don't know how to deal with people who are just super sensitive, and you have to walk around like you're walking on eggshells. Have you ever been with someone that you had to walk like you're walking on eggshells around. I wouldn't call my husband a narcissist, but he has some traits definitely of them, for sure. And when he got angry, I mean, it was like from going from zero to one in a couple of seconds. He was there. He was lit. And I said lit, he was lit. So you have to know. And, like I said, super sensitive to somewhat, not as sensitive as they described when I was doing research, but it was sometimes that you were like, oh my goodness. And you could tell when it was on and popping. You heard that tone, you saw that the way that it was looking, it was like, okay, it's gonna be something up in here today. What happens again is that they're highly sensitive. And one little thing, like I said, you can be seen as the attacker. And they always cry that they're the ones that being abused and not you. So they like to do that. Okay. And they have no real inner confidence on themselves. They have no confidence, they have low self-esteem. And they always depend on your external validation. They always want to be validated. So you always got to feed their ego. Now, without this constant validation by their partners per se, the narcissist isn't getting that attention what they want. And guess what? They end up seeking it elsewhere. And that's what when I was reading, they said that when they don't get that validation that they need anymore, they seek it elsewhere. And that's why a lot of them often cheat. Well, they always give people a reason. They always have excuses for cheating. And I see that even if you can tell them they're the best thing since popcorn, since buttered bread and all the wonderful stuff. But still in all, if they're going to cheat, they're going to cheat. They don't even need an excuse. Because after sometimes when you've done all you can do, you gave them their props. You bigging them up all the time or whatever else, and do what you think that they want you to do, or say, or even act, or you put on things that you think that they want you to do that. But sometimes all that you do is still not enough. Then what? Then what? You have to know, right? So now, as we go along, there are some signs of the narcissistic abuse. The narcissistic abuse, right? There's some. I'm going to go over a couple now, and one of those are verbal abuse. Okay, on the surface, the narcissists are acting pretty likable. They actually are pretty likable, and as I stated in a couple of sessions ago, an abuser don't look like an abuser. My husband didn't look like an abuser. He looked like he was one of the persons in the community, upstanding citizens in the community, right? But they didn't see the other part that was left, that the other demon that was left at home, right? They like, they like and they know what and how to do that to give you attention and to make you feel real special. You get some people that you just know or whatever. He could have been an abuser, but because how he charms you, he put it on thick. He put that stuff on thick. No gaps, nothing. He wines and dines you. He gives you all that attention that you need. And so you think this is the guy. Oh man, he's so thoughtful, he's so gentle, he's so kind, but later on, after he makes you feel special and all of that, and according to this psychiatrist, she says, she says, well, they will often appear quite grandiose. They are going to be, sometimes they're ambitious, imposing, and pompous as well, with high charm and charisma, all of that. Watch the charisma. Watch it. Watch those. Not saying that everybody's narcissistic, of course not. But you have to know, I am bringing you this so that you can be able to discern And what the people of God need in these days are a level uh, a level of discernment. You every day ask God for a level of discernment because you need it to sharpen your our our discernment should be razor. In fact, not even razor sharp, laser sharp. Let us ask God give us laser sharp discernment so that we can be able to discern. Because sometimes these diagnoses and sometimes these spirits um, that we deal with, it could take the form of anything. And if you're not careful, you get swept up right in that whirlwind with it and didn't even know you got taken. Again, note that the charming personality usually belies or disprove or negate an insidious, dangerous, sneaky, like a snake in the grass, corrupt, subtle, and deceptive, their tendencies for verbal abuse. They shame and they bully and they belittle you often and they threaten and they also criticize. And often this verbal abuse can escalate in frequency as well to the occurrences of it and the tone and the pitch as well as the volume. So this person is really ramping up. They ramping it up after then wine and dine you and charmed you and kind of groomed you to how they want you to be, and then they pop this on you. They become that aggressive person, and all the time what they're doing is I mean is because the fact that they have another motive. They're very very strategic because I mean I understand what they're saying that some don't realize what they're doing, but I believe that most do. Again, it's a very thin line, very thin line. So that if you are not careful, you'll be, like I said, you'll be straddling the fence per se, because you don't know if it's the right or the wrong one. You don't know if you're dealing with a psychotic or you deal with this abusive person, and it's tough, and it's two personalities. And and I know sometimes people get Christendom, they get very anxious after a certain amount of years if they're not, they said that biological clock is ticking and they don't have someone or nobody. Listen, let my clock tick until it's done ticked all the way out, because nobody's going to be so that you have to have someone. Not so. It'll be nice to, but I'm not going to put myself in danger because somebody's whining and dining and charming me, and later on they beat the spaghetti out of me. No, that's not going to work. Been there, done that, and I'm not going back there. So sometimes it's good. It's not sometimes. All the time it's good to wait, because you dealing with a lot of people that have different psychological issues and tendencies, and they have a lot of different proclivities and things that sometimes these things are hidden under the mask of these diagnoses and these things that are going on that they're dealing with. And if you are so in rush and to get with these different, I would say, people, you're going to be in for a shock. If you see that, if you're dealing with someone, or if there's someone that you know, you're going to save your life, but you're going to save yourself some trouble, and a lot of heartache and a lot of sleepless nights that you will have to deal with. So on that note, I see that my time is about up, and I'm not going to go over it. So again, on tonight, I thank you for tuning in. I thank you for allowing me to come into your homes to share what that I believe that the Lord has prompted me to do. Again, we will meet again the next on the fourth Tuesday of this month, and then we will continue this. Hopefully, it finishes, because in the new year, God has really laid on my heart. I'm doing some things, and it's going to get tight. It's going to be rough, but it's going to be the truth. And I'm going to deal with sexual abuse. I'm going to deal with rape. I'm going to deal with incest in the home, and among other things that I will deal with. So we have a lot. I look forward in God's will for the new year because it's going to get hot, and I want you to know because it's like it's going to be an alarm. I'm sending out an alarm for you to be careful and for you to be watchful. So on that note, God bless you. I love you guys. Thank you again for tuning in, and have a good night and enjoy the rest of your evening. God bless you. Take care. Goodbye.